all those accolades, every single time I guest speak on a call, I'm like, I wonder if people realize how much failure is behind a lot of that stuff that you just heard. I remember being on calls just like this. I remember hearing from coaches that have been in a couple of years and hearing the things they were doing, and it seemed so far-fetched, and I just felt like they seemed like they have it all together, right? But you don't ever really know all the failure that's behind someone's success. And I want to share a little bit of with that with you guys. I know I've got some newer coaches on this call, and I've got some veterans that will completely understand some of these heartaches that I'm about to share. First of all, did you know, or let me share with you, that I actually lost my Success Club All-Star the first time around at 11 months in. On the 11th month, I was just at a goose egg and I didn't know what else to do. It was a very bad time in my life. I was having a hard time, in my personal life, much, trickled into my business. And no matter what I did, it was just like a complete goose egg. And I had been working so hard for 11 months. Failure number one. Failure number two. We were just talking about that a second ago, or Joan just mentioned it a second ago, but I had to rebuild 5-star 2 times around. Like I had an organization and then it didn't happen. Then I had an organization again and then it kind of just stayed. And then here we are, 10-star qualifying sounds so amazing, right? I had to work very hard to get there. I missed elite last year. I am not an elite coach for 2017, but guess what? I sponsored one, which is my little sister, which I'm so excited about. The year before that, I didn't hit elite. I hit premier. And you want to know why? It wasn't even ranked, Joan. I missed it by 2 elite points. I had the rank, I had everything. And down to the last, like literally I was waiting on the phone call. Half of corporate was telling me, I think you did it. The other half was saying, it's a nail biter. And the actual call was, you missed it by 2 points. So lots of failure, lots of times where I was tested. Who I am, what I want, the vision I have for this business was so tested. I've had the weight gain, the weight loss, the losing my way, finding my way, being on point, being selected for test group, being selected for, I'm in a couple infomercials, which were really, really cool. I'm like an old school girl. I filmed once with Tony Horton. Like that was so much fun. I've had a lot of ups too. And I'm telling you guys all this because I want you to see someone in front of you that you shouldn't be impressed by, but that you should see and hear about today and say, you know what? Like she may be on chapter 12, but right now my business, my journey looks like her chapter 3 or her chapter 4. And just understand that it's all a process, something that we all have to go through. Nobody can skip the ugly parts, right? And I'm a true believer. We talk about this all the time on my team. Like I'm a true believer that God is constantly preparing us for the things that are prepared for us. You want to be 15-star diamond, superstar diamond coach? Me too. You want to have an elite team again? Me too. You want to be a 6-figure earner in this business? Me too. There's so many things that I want and envision for myself. But I had to be honest with myself at some points and say, was I really prepared for those things? Did I really have what it took to take the business to that level? And the answer was no. And I still don't feel like I'm completely there yet. I mean, right now, being 10-star qualifying, I feel like I'm filling those shoes. I feel equipped to run and lead my team the way they deserve to be led. And it wasn't quite there before. So tonight I'm going to share with you my story. And I'm going to dig deep a little, take you back, tell you my story. And there's going to be a reason that I'm really diving into my story, because I'm going to share with you the way I now today have used and learned to figure out who I am, why I am who I am. And that's enabled me now to grab that and build a business out of it. Build a business on social media, because guess what, guys? Today, my sister's an elite coach. My mom's a 6-star diamond. My husband's in the business with me. All my family, all my friends, everyone close to me is in the business. That means our cold market is where we work from. That warm market was depleted a long time ago. So I have had to learn, how can I meet new people? How can I connect with people? How can I build this business so that it's solid? And it's people that I'm finding and meeting that I want to do life with. Because Beachbody, listen, this business is not transactional. This is pure heart. This is pure relational. When you were working with someone on their health and fitness, we all know, I know you guys know this because you have already felt it. There's so much feeling into it. It's not just a shake and a workout. It's not just that. And that's what makes it so great. But that's also can make it so challenging because you got to dig a little bit deeper and it cannot be surface level stuff. So what I'm going to talk to you tonight is I'm going to share my story, and then we're going to go into how am I using flat out who I am to build this business that today, guys, yes, I retired myself as a paralegal 4 years ago, working from home full time now. Well over a 6-figure income that, my God, like it's, look, I swear to you, I have goosebumps right now because it still gives me goosebumps to say that, because I cried and cried and cried and cried when I left that $52,000 income on the table. And I said, I want to do this fitness thing online. And I had so many naysayers, so many people that just didn't, and family too, you know, and people closest to me too, that just didn't quite understand or see what I saw. And today I'm like, okay, you know, like I'm making it. And I blew through glass ceilings, you know. Obviously, I'm going to insert the income disclaimer. We all know, I know you guys are all coaches right now on this call. Like, you got to hustle. And I'm, like I said, there are highs, there are lows. You got to have grit to get through this. You got to be tested to get to a level where you can say those kinds of things. But I promise you that everything you're going through is just so worth it. So worth it. So with that, let me dig in. Let me take you guys back real quick. Who's Monica Lopez? Well, Monica Lopez today, yeah, she's a mother of 3, retired paralegal, works from home. But at one time she was, I think I was like around 7 or 8 years old, where I started to have a weight issue. I was very overweight as a kid. And I see it in my daughter. We both love food. Like I still love food. Like I live for food. And so growing up, I didn't have any limits when it came to food. And I also wasn't involved in any sports. I would try out for certain sports and I would either not make it on the team, or if it's one of those teams where everybody has to be a part of the team, like you can't say no to everybody, I was always benched. Like I was that girl that was the seat warmer. I grew up overweight. I also had very bad teeth as a kid. So I was bullied constantly for as long as I can remember. That was all the way till about middle school when things changed. I endured a lot, and I always think about it now, like it freaks me out to think if my kids have to go through that, and I'm very cognizant of it. And that's why one of the things I bleed with most is talking about how I want to be an example for my kids. I don't want my kids to go through that. So that's one thing that makes me who I am, right? Experiences that I had. 2, when I finally found fitness, and it was at the age of 13, and I'll tell you how I found it. It was middle school, and you know how you get to pick electives on what classes you want? Well, I had to pick between dance class, which I honestly really loved, right? I loved to dance, and then weight training, right? Where you literally are in a gym weight training. Most of the boys picked weight training, most of the girls picked dance. But the thought of having to be in that locker room again, putting on those damn leotards in front of the girls, I was like, I'm doing weight training. And I picked weight training. And that's where I met a coach in there who was actually the football coach. And that man taught me, I was probably one of 2 or 3 girls in his class, taught me how to lift weights. He just taught me. He taught me about nutrition. He taught me about weight training. And that's where the first time in my life I discovered that we are really in control of our body. We really are. Yes, some people battle it worse than others, but at the end of the day, anybody can make big change happen. And I felt that power at the young age of 13, fell in love with fitness, and boof, off I went. From the age of 13 to when I was about to have my first kid, which I'm a young mom too. I had my first baby. I got pregnant at 20 years old. That was the first time now postpartum that I ever dealt with weight again. And then let me bring you to what my life looked like at 20 years old. I was always a very mature girl. I left my home at 17. I was out on my own, had roommates, had a steady job. I was working as a receptionist for a law firm, answering phones for them. And then I was also working in the nighttime, bartending or cocktail waitressing at a local, it was like an arcade place for families and stuff like that. And I was going to school. And I was just so dead set on becoming a lawyer. It's all I could think, all I could see, all I wanted. I had already met my husband. And we were already moving in together. We were paying like a $700 rent in a tiny little apartment, but we had dreams. We were like, we're going to buy a house. We had actually put on a down payment on our house, and both of us working crazy hours, just trying to do this thing. And then I fell pregnant. And I'm like, okay, now what? Well, my first initial instinct was, well, my mom did it. My mom is a multiple business owner. My mom is super successful. She also raised 3 girls, and she did it half of the time divorced from my father. So I said, my mom did it. I can do it, right? Well, here's what I didn't realize. And here's what, again, things that you kind of think about your past, and you're like, okay, this is why I am who I am. While my mom did it, I do remember being raised by a nanny full-time in our house. We had a live-in nanny. While my mom did it, I also remember not seeing my mom very much, right? Love her to death, but she worked her ass off and she was not home. And here I was, a 21-year-old mom. I had a full plate, working late hours. My campus to my school was an hour away, working the bartending and all that kind of stuff. I'll never forget, guys, my 7-month-old. One day I come home from stinky from whatever I was doing. I remember that. And I went to go grab my son. And he turned around, threw himself back to my mother-in-law and screamed. He didn't want me. He didn't want me. He didn't know me. Like, it was like, I'd rather be with her who's raising me and not you at 7-month-old. Boom. That was just like a turning point for me. I was devastated by that. And there it clicked to me, and I understood when my mom told me, yeah, you can do it. Go ahead. She knew deep inside you were going to pay a price for it. And that's the price. That's the price, right? If I wanted to become a lawyer, I wanted to do all the things that I wanted to do, the price was going to be I was not going to be home. And it was that very moment that I looked at my husband. I had just been accepted. I had finished the LSATs. I had just been accepted to a summer program at a local law school here in FIU. And in order to make it into the actual law program, I had to prove myself in the summer. I had to come out top, I don't know what it was, top 10% or something like that. I had to just like kill it to be able to be accepted into law school to then carry on from there. And here I am, I was already drowning. And I stopped. I left it all on the table. And I went back to my receptionist job, and that's it. I just kept working from there and worked. I built myself up from answering phones to then filing paperwork to then getting someone to give me a shot as a legal assistant that I knew nothing. They had to teach me everything along the way. To then becoming an actual paralegal, where here in the state of Florida, you don't actually need the certificate, but if you got to know your stuff to be. And I was the youngest paralegal in my office at one point, working for the 2 top shareholders, which was like a pretty big deal. So telling you guys all this because as that failed in my career, right? It was a quote unquote failure for me. And I always held myself thinking that I failed and I never made it happen. But I just worked my butt off to do whatever I could do. At the same token, in my life, I was off having my second child, battling the weight again. That was the first time in my life having those 2 kids that I was battling weight again after thinking that I had it all figured out. Because sure, while I knew what to do, I didn't have the same schedule. I didn't have the same life. Like now I was juggling being a mom on top of that. So all of that changed, and then insert my coach, which is not really my coach, which is funny enough. The person that sponsored me into this business is not who has mentored me and helped grow my business with me, which is Christina Delgado. I don't know if you guys know her. Super awesome woman. You're supposed to be in bed. Go upstairs. You're supposed to be in bed. Sorry. Whenever they come near me, I'm like, I can't think when you're here. All right. So Christina Delgado, insert into my life. This woman had a baby 6 months before I had Mia, which is my last baby, my 3rd baby. And I was watching her do this, what seemed like so flawlessly. Like she popped out a baby, 3 months came back to work. I'm seeing her walk around with this shake. She's got like an extra pep in her step. She's super energetic, super happy. And I was coming in like with bags under my eyes. Like, I'm not sleeping. Like, I can't do this. My house is a circus. And I remember, I'll never forget it, being so at my wit's end that I walked into her office. Like I boom, came in like all dramatic. Okay, what the heck are you doing? Because I need help. Because you look amazing. I'm still a fat cow. I don't feel good. My clothes don't fit. And I have 3 freaking kids at home that I could barely think, much less like get in shape and get to a gym. And there we go. the rest is history. She introduced me to Beachbody, started doing the workouts, and it started snowballing. That snowball went from a mom who there's no freaking way I could have helped anybody because I couldn't see past myself when I first started, right? Like, how could I help anybody? I was drowning. So first step was I just signed up just to save the money, right? Next thing, it started snowballing when I started getting the results and I started getting all this attention. And my mom owns preschool, so I would go pick up my kids and the moms were like, rubbernecking, like, what are you doing? The same thing I did to Christina. And then I'd share with them, and then I'm like, okay, so you mean I could make some extra cash, pay off the shake, which I thought was expensive in the first place, to be honest with you, pay off this shake, and then make some extra cash where I could show my husband, like, look, I'm helping with groceries, I'm helping with this. Then that snowballed into, okay, I think I'm going to start doing this. Like, I'm going to run little groups. I'm going to run little fit clubs. And I was doing that for a while. Guys, never in my wildest dreams was I thinking about going full time. Like, that was not even in my realm of thinking. But as all this is happening, I'm making, and I remember having an account where all the Beachbody money went there because I had a steady, income. We weren't really hurting for money. And all that was just like extra, the cherry on top. And we were living life. I had my third baby, right? And I think I said that wrong. When the whole time I met Christina, it was the second baby. I don't know why I said third. She stopped. She doesn't let me think when she's next to me. That was the second baby. Third baby. I get pregnant 3 months after signing as a coach. Okay. Had the side gig happening, had the money coming in. And then I find out I'm pregnant. And I thought to myself, well, this is my ticket to extra success. Now I'm going to show women that you can work out pregnant. You're not handicapped. And then I'm going to show them how I'm going to get in epic shape right after that. But God had other plans, because when Mia was finally born and I was like ready to tackle this postpartum journey of mine, I find out at 6 weeks old that she has this tumor. It's a benign blood tumor. It's called a hemangioma, and it's very prevalent in infants. Usually grows on the outside of the body, just looks really not so great, but it doesn't really do any harm unless it's like Mia's case. It was growing in the inside of her body, and Mia's tumor was right here, like right between her eye and like right above her eye, back in the back of her head. This tumor was growing at a rapid rate, and it was intertwined in all of her eye muscles, in all of her nerves. So right away, surgery was off the table because she would automatically go blind. They'd mix something, and they knew that. So they looked at me, and I'll never forget. They sat me down. They're like, Mom, all right, here's the plan. We know this experimental drug that actually, it's called propranolol, that actually we give this to kids with heart defects. But it just so happened 3 years ago, 3 years before Mia's case, a boy who also had a heart condition and also had a hemangioma took the medication for his heart, and somehow his hemangioma, his tumor, was shrinking. So that's what we're going to do for your daughter. We're just going to try this out and see. And I'm here like freaking out. And if you see my daughter, if you happen to browse through my social media, like, she's the only one in the family got these bright ass blue eyes, like beautiful blue eyes. Came from like down the line. I don't have blue eyes. My husband's not even close to being blue-eyed. The boys are not blue-eyed, but she is. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, this beautiful blue-eyed child, like, she's everything I've ever wished for. And here we are. She's about to lose her vision, her eye, with this tumor. And I didn't. And at the point we got it, her eye was already popping out of the socket a little bit. So it was just an intense moment, guys. I'm gonna fast forward. She's okay now. She's fine. We had to go through 6 months of treatment, being in the Miami Children's Hospital, getting administered this propranolol. It's a blood thinner, messes with her blood and all that kind of stuff. So she had to be under observation for 2 hours each time they gave this medication to her, once a week. So do the math. 2 hours, once a week. Somebody needs to take this child to the hospital to take this medicine and be observed to make sure that her eye doesn't pop out. This tumor doesn't grow to this immensity that it can grow to. It royally sucked. I had blown through all my personal time. I had blown through all my maternity. I was sending my mom, my sister, my husband, sometimes even my friends to fill my shoes. And I'd be literally on speaker with the doctor, taking in what's happening and where we're at through a phone, right? I remember thinking to myself, is that going to be the day she has the adverse reaction? Is that going to be the day something's wrong and I'm not there? Like, that shit was so terrible that I don't wish that on anybody. It was such a helpless feeling, such a helpless feeling. And guys, I'm telling you this because that was the moment where all of a sudden, this Beachbody gig, this fun thing, this thing that I did on the side for some extra cash, I saw it in a whole different light. I knew it was that exact moment, feeling that way, that I was like, I don't ever want to feel like that again. I don't want to feel that way again. Her treatment ended like in February, and I remember that summit was coming that July. And I told my husband, we're gonna go to that summit. I'm gonna work my butt off, and I'm leaving this job. I want to do this full time. I want to do this thing. And we did. We went to that summit. I don't know, Joan, if you were a coach back then. That's when John Maxwell was there live, which like spoke to my soul. He was so amazing. And it just changed everything for me. And that's when I went into this business full time. And I've never looked back since. Again, I went through all of the ups and downs. And that was just in the business. Like, if you go to my personal life, a lot of crap went down. But I'm here today. And I'm a testament to grit. I'm a testament to, being a survivor, I guess I could say, being relentless in my pursuit. Like at no point, I can tell you this with certainty, and all the things that I've gone through, at no point did I feel like I ever wanted to give up on this business or that it wasn't for me. I knew this would be for me, but I also had to take in and understand and lean into the fact that the hard times were preparing me for what I needed to be in order to really be successful, not just be a deck of cards that can crumble at any time. So sharing all this, that's my life story, because here's the deal. I've learned, and you may think I have it all together. You're like, oh, you realize this about your life, and you realize this about your life. It took so much time, so much working on myself, because before Beachbody, nobody sat down and said, Monica, who are you? Monica, like at 20 years old or 17 years old, moving out of my house and wanting to be on my own, like, why is that? I know some 30-year-olds that still live at home, which is completely fine. But I had this urge, like, I want to get out. I want to do my thing. Like, why was that in me? Why was that in me? Like, why the things? And so Beachbody made me stop and think to myself, like, who am I? And Beachbody is probably going to test you the same way. In fact, it's necessary that you go through that test because you need that now to build your business. All right. So let me screen share real quick because I did put together this to share why I'm saying that. All right, so through social media, I've continued to build my business 100%. And I want to leave you guys with these 3 tips today, all right? And these are the 3 things that I share with my team. These are the 3 things that I try to live by when I'm building my business. And it's what's helped me be as successful as I have been able to reach till now. And number 1 is don't fight to be popular. Fight to be yourself. Figure out who you are. We just went through Christina and I just did like this amazing 5-day Instagram bootcamp with our team, which we really put our hearts into. And we seriously dedicated an entire day where, Joan, you might remember this from leadership, that Be Colorful pie chart where we'd had them fill out like parts of who they are. I wanted them to dig deep and figure out what are the layers, why are they how they are, because that's going to be who they're going to turn around and look for. Right? That's what they're going to use to connect. I remember being a coach and people saying, okay, so who are you? I'm like, a mom and a wife. And that's all I could say. But I didn't realize all the layers I had. I had to sit there and really think about it and realize, okay, this is my value. Guys, your value is not Beachbody On Demand. It's not Shakeology. Your value is not coming from the performance line. Guess what? 400,000 of us have that already. We all got that. So you got to figure out what is your value, what is separating you, and own that, all right? Take the time to learn it and then own it. Be yourself. So go out there and represent who you are. 2, don't strive to impress people, but rather strive to impact people. And I think a big deal with this on social media, and I'm going to speak to the newer coaches for a second here because this is what I see happen. A new coach joins, and I'm totally guilty of this probably back then. Comes in and all of a sudden you got this coach title and you kind of like freak out. You're freaking out that you're not going to say the right thing, do the right thing, or be the right thing. And it's like 24 hours ago, yeah, that's the person you need to be who you were 24 hours ago before you signed up to be a coach. Like, that's it. Keep doing you, boo. Like, just keep doing who you are and strive to impact. the worst thing you could do is all of a sudden, boom, you're a coach. And I'm just saying things that I see posted like, got my workout in. What's your excuse? Like, that's already like, oh, but just yesterday you just bought your challenge bag and you were just starting. Like, be real, be real. The best thing you could do is figure out how you're going to make an impact. You know how I do it 6 years later? I'm still saying, I remember when I was in this predicament and I felt this way. And I remember when I had to go through this. But today, this is where I'm at. And then provide the solution. This is how I did it. That's making an impact. That's not just trying to impress someone that I got my workout in. I'm super mom. It's saying, like, I get you. I feel you. And I promise you that if you give me a little bit of your trust or you go blind faith into what I'm sharing with you, that I can help change your life. I can help impact your life in a very big way. So those are 2 little tweaks that we could totally, anybody could do. I don't care if you're in your very first program and you're in week 1. Like, you can still make an impact with who you are and where you are sitting right now in your journey, okay? And then, that says 2 again. What a typo. It's supposed to be 3. 3 is, instead of going out there and finding followers, how about you just look at it as making friends? Get out there and make friends. Go out there with 0 expectation. I'm always talking to my team, don't be the hunter, be the, what is it? Don't be the farmer. God, I'm having such a brain fart because she's still playing behind me. Hunter goes out to shoot to kill, right? Oh, I'm going to have one conversation. They didn't buy from me. Like, I was just shooting to kill. They suck. I suck. I should probably quit. Like, don't be that person. Be the person that says, all right, I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to answer all their questions with all the love in my heart. And when they give me every objection, I'm going to try to help them out with that objection. But if they still say, I'll let you know next week, no problem. And I'm going to stay right there with that seed planted and move on to go plant 50 more while that one person thinks about it. And guess what? When that person finally comes around, I'm going to come to them with open arms like, it's your time, baby. You're ready. Let's go. But you got to be out there making those relationships. And people can sense when you're approaching them and you just want them to buy from you. Like, they sense it. But if you go at this where I'm going to go out there, meet as many people as I can, get to know who they are. Like, on social media, I call it flirting. I'm constantly out there flirting. I'm constantly out there finding women on social media. And by the way, how do I find them? I will go to pages of similar interests. Like, I'm totally into home decor. I'm totally into alcohol. I'm totally into, I'm just being real. Like, I'm totally into like boating, anything, bikinis, my nails, I have, like, these are all the things about me. So I'll go to local, restaurants that serve really awesome cocktails, and champagne or whatever, or really awesome brunches. Or I'll go to the bikini line that I love, or I'll go to, memes. I love memes. Like, especially if they're, the ones that are super funny, but like borderline over the edge, like, those are my favorite memes. So I'll go and find the person that thinks that those are just as funny, and I'll be adding them to my Instagram. I'll be following them, and then I'll be flirting with them. I call it flirting, a 3 to 1. I'll go like a couple pictures, leave a comment, like a couple pictures, leave a comment, and start to build this communication between them. And I'm telling you guys exactly how I build this business. And little by little, as I'm gathering, and I have to be okay that not everybody's going to like me and be the way that I am, but that's fine. I'm looking for the people that I want to do life with. And with the time that I'm out there doing these things and connecting and talking and making friends, here's what I'm doing. I'm building a network, and I'm building trust within my network. I can't tell you guys, I can't even count how many times someone's come to me and saying, I followed you for 2 years. I followed you for 3 years. I followed you, I remember when you quit your job. And they had never spoken to me. But guess what? By the time they finally came to me and had the guts to say, I've been following you X amount of time, I'm ready, they have full trust in me because they've been watching me. And that is something that none of us can skip. That is the hard work, the grit, the blind vision that's saying, all the work I'm doing, I know it's going to play a role. It's going to soon come to life. It's kind of like that meme that says, you could be grinding for 4 years super hard, and the 5th year, that's when it explodes. Like, that's when everything comes together. Like, you got to keep with that mindset, and you got to get out there and constantly be building relationships with 0 expectation back. I tell my team all the time, we're flirting. We're not just trying to get into bed with somebody. We're just flirting, and if we get the second date, we get the second date, but you got to keep out there and keep making friends. So I did pretty good on time. I usually talk too much and I'll go way over, but that's what I have for you guys. That's what I have for you guys. And I hope that it helped you in some kind of way. Joan, was it what you were looking for?
Yeah, I think you rocked it. I think you rocked it. When you like, you gave me goosebumps a few times. I love when you said, I remember when, and then today. I feel like that gave me like the best idea to go like, oh my God, that should be a post in one of our basics groups. Like, I want you to fill out this statement. I remember when blank, and today blank. And like, that should really be for people to like go and post about. Hunter versus farmer, 3-1, flirting. Guys, anybody have questions? She's so awesome. I think everybody just
Any questions, I'm here.
Everybody just wants to be friends with you. They're like, okay, now I want to flirt with Monica.
So funny.
Can we drink?
That's my kind of girl. We can drink and we can swear, and then we got to work out afterwards.
So funny. I think it was awesome. If no one has any questions, then we're all set. But I loved it. I've never heard your story, so that was incredible to hear. And I think it's so good to hear from other people and what they've been through, and that it's not just all rainbows and freaking butterflies all the time. And we all have our ups and downs in this business, but if you keep going, it is 100% worth it.
Amen. Amen.
All right, guys, they're all thanking you. Thank you. Loved it.
You're welcome, guys. My pleasure.
Nuggets. I can't wait to see you. Are you going on Turtle?
Whatever the second one is.
Turtle.
Yes, but I'm taking these faces this time.
Oh, well, we will.
Yeah. You want to join me at the kiddie pool?
I was going to say, you can find me knee deep in a bottle of tequila over at the other pool.
This is the first one we're taking them, and they're really excited. They know exactly what's going on, so they're going with us for this trip.
Well, I look forward to seeing you.
To see you too. I'm excited.
Thank you so much, Monica.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me. A sincere pleasure. Love you guys.
Love you.
Have
Bye.
a good night. Bye.